So today we're going to look at sign up forms and sign up pages and looking at how we can add these into different places. So we know that having sign up forms on our website's a really smart strategy. So this links here to a sign up form, this links to another sign up form, and even right down the bottom on my homepage, this also links to a sign up form. Just showing examples. I probably could get rid of this little one down the bottom, but that's just showing a really simple example of a WordPress, a MailChimp form just stuck in the sidebar of a WordPress site. But what about if you want to add a sign up form somewhere else that's not on your website? For example, YouTube. So if in your YouTube videos, it's awesome to put in some information in your description, and I should actually build this out a little bit more. But just as an example, in your description, you want to be encouraging people also to sign up for your sign up form by adding a link such as this one into the description of your video to encourage more signups. Now, coincidentally, this link goes to a page that needs an update. So I'm going to use that as an example today to show you how you can quickly build a self-contained sign up page which will encourage people onto your list by offering them something that's useful, either something that's directly related to the video that they've just watched, or is a way for them to get more from you, more learning, more tips, more help from you for free in exchange for their email address. So to do this, we're going to create a sign up page in MailChimp. So this is a reasonably new addition to the MailChimp suite of tools. And sign up pages are free. They come with a free MailChimp account, so they're easy for anyone to start using. So once you've gotten logged into MailChimp, you actually go in under campaigns. So under campaigns, this is where you will start just your regular newsletters. This is where you'll also start your landing pages. This is where you would start your automation. So everything kind of starts here in the campaign section. And if you click, I've already kind of got myself in place. If I click in here when I've just come to campaigns, you'll see this is basically a filter. So it's kind of going, oh, I want to find an automation that I've previously created, or I want to find a landing page that I've created. So reusing something that you've already created is a great way to get started. But let's just look at how you'd go about doing this from scratch. So if we go over here on the campaigns page to create campaign, even though it's actually a landing page that we want to create, you see we get these options for us here. Sign up form would also kind of get us to the same place, but let's just look specifically at a landing page today. So there's two options for the landing page. There's a sign up landing page, which basically lets you promote a freebie or a giveaway that you're going to give to people in exchange for their email address. Or you could have a product landing page, which is basically a way to get people buying from you straight away. Today we're just going to look at the sign up page. So we just want to start by giving it a name. This is how back when you were on that campaign section, you'd be able to find it again next time you wanted to create it. So the landing page the sign up I want is for a free content checklist. So I'm just going to call it content checklist, and hopefully I'll just say which site it's for. And then I'll select the list. So I've got a few lists under this MailChimp account, but generally you would want to keep one list per brand that you've kind of got going is a really good way to do this. And just note down here, it says you'll be able to segment your list by the sign up source. So this will be important for us later when we come to say how we're going to deliver the freebie that the person was after when they came to this sign up form. So just click the begin and let it just keep guiding you through. So you'll now have the option to create what the look and feel of this page will be. We're going to keep it pretty simple for this sign up, and generally you do want to keep it simple. You don't want people to have to give you every single detail under the sun to be able to get this freebie. Generally, name and email address are a really good start. Sorry for the slowness. This is due to my internet connection, not MailChimp, I would say. I'll just see how this goes, otherwise I might switch it over to a different email. So internet provider. So this is kind of like your basic getting started little section, and you can customize. You see when I hover over things, I've got blocks that I can start editing using this little edit pencil, or I can delete if I don't want specific ones. So if I just want to start popping things in here, I can grab a logo or an image. Let me see if I've got anything that jumps out to me straight away that I could pop in the top here. As you can see, I've got a few different ones going on. I'll keep it similar to what I had on the videos so that it kind of, when people come from YouTube and they come over here, it seems like they're at the right place, so they recognize that going on. And then let's just change our heading here. So as it says, it's kind of guiding you through what each of these sections should be, but a big enticing headline. So just a quick look back, get your free checklist to get direction for what you should be doing. It's a bit wordy. So grab your free content checklist here. Do I want to add a little bit of extra? So maybe I want to sell people on the reason why they should. So they're obviously interested, they've clicked once and they're over here, but now I just want to kind of go, this is really going to be useful for you. So maybe here's a couple of bullet points, or here's a little testimonial that somebody else has told me about how great they found the content checklist. But I'll just delete that section for now and come back later maybe and change that up. Now in this section here, currently by default, it's giving me email address. I also want to grab the first name, and I want to put the first name first. I'm not sure. Oh, wait a minute. Can I do that? Maybe not. Okay, maybe the email address has to come first. That's fine. I will just leave that there. And then instead of subscribe, I'd want to make it kind of action orientated from the person's perspective. So something like send it to me is good. And then after the form's submitted, on this page, it would be replaced with a confirmation message, or you could have the option to send them to another landing page, which could be like a thank you page or something that's kind of specific to the offer that you were giving them, or you could send them to a particular web address. So maybe from here, you might want to direct them across to a particular page on your website or something like that. I probably don't want to do too much because I basically want them to go back to YouTube from here. So I'll kind of just go a thank you message. So this is just the default. You probably want to, I would want to personalize this. Say, great, thanks for signing up, blah, blah, blah. Check your inbox. You'll have that in a moment kind of thing, that kind of scenario. You can also change the colors. So I'll just show you from back in here under the style section. So if you want to change the colors, I'll just grab something a little bit more yellow to go with that, and then I'll change the text color to black so that it matches from the top. I'm not going too well here, am I? Not giving you the best example of actually getting this done correctly. But anyway, you can see that you can change the colors and you can change everything as you go. And then you just keep following through, save and close to the next thing. So this is basically saying you've got a page here, people can come to it, they can go, yes, that's the checklist I want, they can pop in their email address and their name, click submit, and that's basically, they're going to get onto your list that way. Here now we have a few more options to change what's going on the page. So the page title, so as it says here, this will appear in the browser's toolbar. So it will be this kind of place up here. So I just want to make this quite useful. Grab your content checklist and save. You can also have some URL options. So with the free version of MailChimp, you can't change this. And part of your URL is, so you can't change this section here. It's randomly generated. If you upgrade your account to a paid account, then you'd have the option to change this section here. But we won't do that. We'll just pop in the last part of the URL. So this can be what you want it to be based on what you're offering. So again, I'll put in content checklist and save. Just confirming that, like we chose at the start, the contacts are going to be added to this list, and that after people have submitted, they'll see a confirmation message, which you would have the chance to once again pop in and edit here. And so now I will press ready to publish, and it confirms to up the top here. No one will be able to see it because they need the URL to get to it. So until you publish that URL, basically this page is a hidden page in the interwebs somewhere. So you don't have to worry, don't feel nervous about pressing publish, because until you share that link, no one's going to see it. And this is the link here. So you can see this is the part here that was randomly generated. It's not too bad. And this is the part here that I customized at the end, and it says MailChimp here. Now there are ways that you could then take that and customize it yourself. You can see over here, Bitly is a way that you can do that. In Bitly, you can kind of put Bitly at the start, and then you could even customize this little bit at the end here, which hasn't happened in this example. But we won't worry too much. We're just wanting to look at the end-to-end example of how we'd go about popping this in here anyway. So I'll copy that URL, and I'll probably come back and make a few changes later on. So that's basically our sign up form is now created, and I can come over here and I can pop it in. But you might be thinking, well, that's great. They're signed up and they're getting onto list, but how do they actually get the content checklist? That's a great question, and that's the second step that we need to finish off now. So back over in MailChimp, again, it's under your campaigns and it's under the automation section. So this time we'd be wanting to create a new automation as opposed to a campaign. So as opposed to a mailing list. So I'm wanting to create a email. So design and send automated or regular emails. So it's all kind of in together now, whereas previously there was an automation section that you went to start your automations. So do I want to just create a regular campaign? So this is kind of where you would create your weekly, fortnightly newsletters that go out. Or do I want to create an automated one? An automated email is something that is triggered by something that people do. It's an action that people take, or it's an action that the system takes. So in our example here, we're wanting this automation to be triggered by people joining our list. Or, people can, an automation can be triggered by things like somebody's birthday, or by people buying something from your shop, or by blog updates going out. So there's different things that can trigger the automation. So come over here and have a little look at some of the kind of key categories. Subscriber activity tags. So these are kind of saying what kind of automation am I wanting to start off. And so you can kind of grab, kind of give you a little bit of a head start, welcome new subscribers, etc., which is probably what we want to do, because we're basically we are welcoming them, but I think we'll just go with the custom one now. So let's go again. We'll give it a campaign name. So relate it to the sign up page, because we want to be able to remember that this is the automation that delivers the freebie that was promised from that content checklist sign up page. So I'll just call it freebie delivery. So I want to keep it pretty clear. This is for my benefit. So make it as clear as possible to you. Again, associate it with the list. So this is associated with people who are joining the Nadine McMahon list. And now I am over here in my in the start of my automation. So the automation can have multiple emails, but it starts with one, and it's in this first one that we're going to put in the information, the link, or deliver the freebie that we're giving to the people. So the first thing we want to do is kind of start at the top here, and we see we've got a little pencil here beside something that we want to edit. So the default is trigger 1 day after subscribers are manually added to the workflow, which is obviously too long. We want it to be delivered to them as soon as they hit that subscribe button. So if I click on the edit, I do have the option to change that to immediately, which is exactly what we want. So as soon as somebody is added to the trigger, we want this to happen. This looks like this is set to go for a manual ad, which is not what we want. We want someone, as soon as they take action on our list or they're added to our list, we want this to be triggered. So this is the one we want at the top here, a sign up. A subscriber joins your list. We want this trigger to happen. This is also an interesting one that we would use at different times, but in this instance, I'm going to show you a way that we can get somebody onto our list and then into our group as well. So just be aware that there's a lot of different actions, and take some time to have a look at what's here and different situations that you have going on. There'll be different triggers that you want to use. But under the list management one, the sign up is the one that we want to use today. So when a subscriber joins your list, immediately deliver them this automation. So I just click update trigger, and we can see that's got that going on now. So the next step is for us to keep working down the page, and we want to design the email either by clicking in here or just clicking on the design email section. Now just work your way down the page here. So name your email. Again, this is for you only. So this could be your content checklist freebie delivery. So again, we might have multiple emails in this automation series, but it would be the first one that the freebie would actually be in. And so it could be something like, here's your free content checklist. We want this to kind of be something so that when it lands into their inbox, they kind of associate it with what they've just signed up for. So be pretty specific. Here it is. It's your free content checklist. They've just signed up for a free content checklist. So it kind of, works out for them that way. You can pop in a little snippet of the preview text here. So in some email providers, there'll be a bit of a snippet that will appear after the subject line. You might see that in Gmail at the top. So just take some time to pop something in here and put in the from name as well. So this is automatically pulling this in from my MailChimp settings. So if that's correct, just leave that. Otherwise, you can just change that around. Again, you want it to relate to what from what they know of you, from what they've just signed up for. So that was on my sign up page, so I'll leave that there. And the email address that you want this to come from. With MailChimp, it's just down the bottom here. It just keeps leading you along. That just automatically click the next button for me. So I'll just go with that. You can use some layout suggestions that they have if you haven't created an email or an automation before. You can have a look at some of the visual, the pictorial kind of ones that they have going on, and any of these that you like the look of, you can just click and use and rework them for your own situation. I'm just going to look across at one that I've already created. So again, these are emails that I've used before and that I've sent out. So that's good. You kind of start building up your own library in this instance, which can be really useful. So over the side here, you'll see it's got my logo. It's going to put in the name of the person. So where you see these little codes, that's standing in place for information that MailChimp knows about the person. So in this instance, F name would be for their first name. So if I want to change that and add any other information that I know, I wouldn't want to put in hi for their email address, but I could pop that in. So anything that MailChimp knows about the person that you're collecting, you can pop into the email to personalize it so the person knows it or feels like they're getting something that's been sent specifically to them. Now, thanks so much for signing up. So in this instance, I just want to change this over to free content checklist. I'm just going to keep this one really simple. But again, this could be your opportunity to kind of reassure people that this is going to be worth them opening. So they want to get on with it. Click that big bright button and start checking your content and Now this is the section here where they'll actually click and download. So in this instance, what's going to have happened is I'm going to have this checklist that I'm wanting to deliver them sitting somewhere so that it's accessible on the internet for them, which means either putting it as a media file into my WordPress media library. So in your WordPress site where you have your images and that kind of thing, you can also upload documents. You just need to be aware that this would be taking up any kind of space on the storage, so that is something that you have to be aware of if you have limited space based on your hosting. But you can pop it in there and then you just copy the URL. You can also do things like add it into your Google Drive. So if you have a Drive account where you keep documents and things like that you share with people, you can do that. You put them into the Drive and you make the document visible to anybody with the link. So that's a share option that is in Google Drive. Maybe I won't. Oops, maybe I won't check over there now. Oh, and this is just all gone crazy. I'll just wait for that to come back. So what I would do, I would have the image uploaded into my Drive, and the share option that I would use is to let anyone who has the link be able to view this document, which means that when they click, I would then get the link from that document from my Google Drive, and I would come over here to this button and I would edit it and I would paste it in here, which you can see is exactly what's happened in the past. So that's the link there. It's got some sharing turned on, and basically when anybody clicks this, it will basically just open up that image and will allow them to download it and save it onto their own computer and be able to access it. I will just make a quick change here with this. So you're just basically editing, and this information that's down the bottom, you will have set up either it's here on the template, or this information here is coming again from my MailChimp account. So what it knows about me from my account, but I can edit that if I want to change it. So this is all good. I can preview and test if I want to. It will just have a quick look in preview mode. This will also let us have a look at what it will be like when those tags are enabled. So you can click through and see the different people that you have on your list, and you can then just check that everything's working correctly. And if it is, you just press the save and continue button. So this takes us back to our automation and lets us know, lets us kind of say then, well, actually, after I've delivered the freebie, maybe the next day or the 2 days later or something like that, I'd like to send another email that kind of goes, hey, how'd you find my content checklist? Is there anything else I can help you with? Did that ring any bells for you? Did that make you think of anything that you'd like to do with your checklist? So things like that, so that you can start nurturing a relationship with that person, which is what you want to do once you've delivered them something and once you've got them on your list. You don't want to leave them high and dry and out in the cold. You want to keep in touch with them and build a relationship so that you can help them some more, and so that they could maybe come into the tribe of people that you are working with and helping on a regular basis. Now, the next thing we want to do is, well, actually, you could just leave it there. You could say that's good. So what's going to happen? They're going to click on that sign up form. They're going to get this email automatically. They're going to be able to get the download the freebie that I offered to them and start using it straight away. But there's a few things that we might want to do here for your own benefit and to help with that kind of future grouping and being able to identify some things like, what was the freebie that attracted this person onto my list? How did they come onto my list? So where did they get this form from? Those kind of things. So this is where there's some other actions on each email in the automation sequence that can be really helpful to us here. The first one is we want to filter by segment or tag, because what's happened so far is that this email is currently set to be sent to anybody who joins my list, which is fine. This would be useful to anybody, but I've only offered this to people who have come through this sign up form. And at the same time, I might be offering something different to people who come through a different sign up form. And I don't want them to, when they join my sign up form, get all the different freebies that I'm offering to different people, which might be useful to them, but it's going to be confusing, it's going to be overwhelming, and they're going to be like, I've been bombarded by this person, and they don't want that. So what I want is only the people who have signed up through the sign up page that I created before to get this content checklist. So the way that I do this is by filtering by segment or tag. So on the first email, this one that's delivering the freebie, I want to go and edit the segment that's in here. So choose a segment or tag and choose this section here, subscribers match the following conditions. Leave that option as any, and then come down here and say sign up source, because where did they sign up with me from? Was or was not, up to you, depending on how that works out for you. And then say landing page, because it was through the sign up source was a landing page, and choose the specific landing page name that you created, content checklist. And then click, or you can go refresh count. Obviously I won't have anyone yet because I haven't shared this, but at times that can be useful to see whether you think there should be anybody that that would be going to at that time. So now anyone who subscribes to my list, anyone who signs up through the sign up form is a potential person to have this automation sent to them, until it kind of hits this first email and goes, are you somebody who came to this list from this sign up form? So it does that check. So now we're only going to be delivering this email to people who meet that condition. So we can see that we've got a condition set. So sorry, now this is now going to send that freebie out correctly, and you could leave this here. But the second thing we want to do is we want to add a post send action, and this is where MailChimp can be really helpful to us by adding people into a group, which is basically a tag in MailChimp. So it's basically adding information to the people on our list to help us know things about them in the future. Because in the future, I might want to go, this person was interested in my content checklist, which means they might also be interested in this other freebie that I'm offering that is around content checklists, or they might be interested in the course that I'm offering, or they might be able to give me some advice or tell me the questions they have around that kind of thing. So it lets me kind of create another grouping of people based on the information that they were interested in from me that got them to give me their email address in the first place. So it's useful to kind of keep this information and to kind of tag people as they join your list with it. But on the sign up form, there was no option for us to put in a hidden field or to tag people in any way based on other than the fact that that was the sign up page. So it's really useful to add them now into a group, and you can do this using these post send actions, which can be quite useful. Now, I will have previously in MailChimp created a group that is relevant to this information. So if I have a group created, a group called lead magnets, and then under lead magnets I have the different options. Every time I create a new lead magnet, I come and pop it in under my group section so that I can then essentially tag people that that's what they've updated with. and you'll just see a note here that people can, there's different types of groups when you're creating them, a radio button or drop down, basically meaning that if it's a radio, you can only choose one option. If it's a drop down, you could choose multiple. So it's just kind of letting you know that. And I'll just click update action now. And now we are pretty much ready. So our people are going to come to our sign up form. They're going to give me their email address. The email address is kind of going to come to this automation, and it's going to go, I want to add this person to the list. Can I add this person to the list? It's going to look at this condition and say, is this person from the sign up page? And if they are, it's going to say, yes, this is the correct freebie to deliver it to them. And after you've done that, pop them onto my list group. Whew, okay, so I hope that was pretty clear. It's a reasonably logical process once you kind of get that sorted out in your mind. And as I said before, for this automation, I'm just simply going to have the one-off delivery, and I'll look at later adding a few extra emails to this nurture sequence, so to nurture people onto my list. But for now, I'm really just interested in getting people onto my list initially. So I don't want there to be any more blockers for me tonight. I just want to get this on there. So I'll just click next. Just again, a couple of checks. Yes, it's adding to the Nadine McMahon. It's going to deliver this freebie. It's going to trigger immediately after people have joined my list. And so I'm going to say start workflow. Yes, please. Okay, so that's awesome. So now I've created my sign up page. I've created the email automation that's going to deliver the freebie to my new subscriber as soon as they sign up. Now all I need to do is go back to my YouTube video and pop in that link to the sign up form, because everything is now ready for people to start getting on my list from there. So in my description, when I'm logged in myself to YouTube, I'll have the edit video option. This will let me edit different things about the video, including this description field down the bottom here. So basically, I'm just wanting to swap over the link. And as I said, I'll make that a little bit more user-friendly, so it's not quite such an ugly one, but that's pretty much all I have to do. Just drop that link into there, click Save Changes, and hopefully that should be good. It says all changes saved. So let me just pop over back to my channel and pop into that video. Just press pause so we don't start playing, and show more, and we can now see that link is there. When I click on it, it should open in a separate page the sign up form that I created, which looks pretty horrible. So I'll now just pop back and make those changes and make it look a bit better. But basically it will definitely work, and I can just pop that in as a test. So you can see success. So again, you're seeing the different parts. I would definitely be changing this up, and you have a lot of creative license over what you do with these sign up pages, but you can keep them pretty simple. And when you're just getting started, that's not a bad way to do it at all. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. Have a go. Get in there and see what you can do with those sign up pages in MailChimp. They're pretty powerful because they can give you the opportunity to add these kind of simple landing pages into different places. As we saw, you can also link them up from your website. I do have one linked up from here and from a different pages, but you can then also use them elsewhere. So in different places across the internet, from places like your YouTube descriptions, from things like your Instagram profiles, your Facebook profiles, you can then be driving people to these sign up pages, which are branded to look like they're part of your online world, but which are basically sitting as part of MailChimp. Got any questions? Let me know in the comments below. And if there's anything that you would like me to explain a bit further on this process, I'd be very happy to help you out. Happy sign up page creating. Happy sign up page creating.